SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, has launched thousands of satellites into orbit. Many people claim to have seen them in the sky. They are part of the Starlink project, which aims to deliver high-speed internet from space to remote areas on Earth. But does it really solve the internet problems? Are these satellites worth millions of dollars spent? How do they work? All of these questions will be answered in this video, so we recommend you watch it in its entirety. So, without further ado, let's get straight into this. The Starlink satellite constellation system aims to provide global internet coverage. This system is ideal for rural and geographically isolated areas, where internet access is unreliable or non-existent. Starlink, a SpaceX initiative to build a global broadband network, provides high-speed internet services via a constellation of low Earth orbit (LEO) satellites. SpaceX, or Space Exploration Technologies Corp., is a privately held rocket and spacecraft company founded by Elon Musk in 2002. Starlink uses satellite internet service technology that has been around for decades. Instead of using cable technology like fiber optics to transmit internet data, a satellite system sends radio signals through space. Ground stations send signals to satellites in orbit, which then relay the information to Starlink users on Earth. The Starlink constellation satellites weigh 573 pounds and have a flat body. One SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket can fit up to 60 satellites. Starlink's goal is to build a low-latency network in space that will enable edge computing on Earth. The task of building a global network in space is not easy, especially given the importance of low latency. SpaceX has proposed a constellation of nearly 42,000 tablet-sized satellites circling the globe in low orbit to meet this demand. CubeSats, which are miniature satellites commonly used in LEO, provide tight network coverage and low latency due to their low Earth orbit. However, Starlink is not the only contender in the space race, with OneWeb, Hubsnet, Viasat, and Amazon as competitors. Since 1996, Hubsnet has provided signal coverage from 22,000 miles above the Earth. But Starlink takes a slightly different approach and offers advantages like Starlink employs thousands of small satellites rather than a few large ones. Starlink employs LEO satellites that orbit the Earth at only 300 miles above sea level. This shortened geostationary orbit increases internet speeds and decreases latency. The most recent Starlink satellites have laser communication elements that allow signals to be transmitted between satellites, reducing reliance on multiple ground stations. Soon, SpaceX plans to launch up to 40,000 satellites, ensuring global and remote satellite coverage with fewer service outages. Starlink has the advantage of being a subsidiary of SpaceX, which, in addition to launching Starlink satellites, also conducts partner launches regularly. Due to the high costs involved, other satellite internet providers may be unable to schedule regular satellite launches. Starlink provides unlimited high-speed data via a network of small satellites that can deliver up to 150 megabits per second. SpaceX intends to more than double this rate in the coming months. According to a recent Ookla speed test, Starlink had the fastest median download speed in Lithuania in the first quarter of 2022, at 160 megabits per second. Starlink also achieved 91 megabits per second in the United States, 97 megabits per second in Canada, and 124 megabits per second in Australia. With a median download speed of 105.91 megabits per second, Starlink in Mexico was the fastest satellite internet provider in North America. The speed test also revealed that upload speeds in the United States had dropped by at least 33%, from 16.29 megabits per second in the first quarter of 2021 to 9.33 megabits per second in the second quarter of 2022. According to the Starlink website, it provides high speeds with latency as low as 20 milliseconds in most areas. Starlink isn't cheap when compared to other internet service providers. Customers pay $99 per month, £89 per month in the UK. The dish and router required to connect to the satellites will set you back $549, £529 in the UK. However, 96% of UK households already have access to high-speed internet, as do 90% of EU and US households. Most of the developed world is already well connected, says Professor Said Mostashar of the Institute of Space Policy and Law at London University. They rely on a small market share to generate revenue. According to the company, it has 400,000 subscribers in the 36 countries it currently serves, most of which are in North America, Europe, and Australasia. This includes both individuals and businesses. Starlink intends to expand its coverage further across Africa, South America, and Asia next year, regions of the world where internet coverage is patchy. Starlink's prices, for example, may be too high for many African households, says Chris Hall. However, it could play an important role in connecting remote schools and hospitals. Now, this begs the question, where does Starlink operate right now? Starlink currently serves 36 countries in areas with limited coverage. In the United States, the company intends to extend coverage to the remainder of the continental United States by the end of 2023. Although a few countries, including Pakistan, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, are marked as coming soon on Starlink's coverage map, the company currently has no plans to offer services to Russia, China, Cuba, or North Korea. The coverage map on the company's website shows where Starlink is available. Also, users who sign up for Starlink receive a Starlink kit, which includes a satellite dish, a dish mount, and a Wi-Fi router base unit. Starlink also includes a power cable for the base unit, as well as a 75-foot cable to connect the dish to the router. Starlink customers must first set up the satellite dish to begin receiving the signal and passing the bandwidth to the router in order to use the service. The company provides a number of mounting options for the dish, including options for yards, rooftops, and home exteriors. A Starlink app for Android and Apple iOS is also available, which uses augmented reality to help users choose the best location and position for their receivers. Starlink was built to withstand harsh weather conditions. According to the website of the company, Starlink has been designed and rigorously tested to withstand a wide range of temperatures and weather conditions, including extreme cold and heat, sleet, heavy rain, and gale force winds, and it can even melt snow. Starlink employs LEO satellites and a phased array antenna to maintain performance during extreme weather conditions. A typical cloudy day does not affect Starlink. Storm clouds, on the other hand, can potentially disrupt signals because they produce rain. Storm clouds are also moister and denser, which can contribute significantly to satellite signal degradation. Light rain usually does not cause problems, but heavy rain can degrade the quality of the Starlink signal. Thick, dense clouds are associated with heavy rain. The denser the clouds, the more likely it is that radio signals to and from the Starlink satellites will be blocked. Strong winds will have no effect on a properly secured and mounted Starlink dish that does not sway or move. The Starlink dish includes a phased array antenna that can track satellites flying overhead without requiring physical movement. This also aids in the prevention of signal interruptions. Light snowfall should have no effect on Starlink signals, but heavy snowfall may have an impact due to moisture buildup. The Starlink dish has a heating function that automatically melts snow, but if snow accumulates on top of the dish, it may need to be cleaned manually to avoid signal issues. Heavy sleet and ice, like rain and snow, could interfere with Starlink signals. The heating function melts ice and snow automatically, but a heavy icing or sleet event would necessitate manual intervention to clean the dish. Normal fog should not interfere with Starlink signal, but dense fog may result in signal loss or interruptions. Heavy fog contains a great deal of moisture and can be dense enough to disrupt the signal. Starlink satellites orbit about 342 miles, 550 kilometers above Earth, putting on a spectacular show for observers as they move across the sky. This show is not well received by everyone and can significantly impede optical and radio astronomical observations. Starlink satellites can be seen with the naked eye and do not require any special equipment. The satellites can be seen moving across the night sky as a string of pearls or as a train of bright lights. Starlink satellites are easier to spot a day or two after launch and deployment, then become increasingly difficult to spot as they ascend to their final orbital height of around 342 miles, 550 kilometers. In January 2015, SpaceX announced its satellite internet proposal. Though no name was given at the time, CEO Elon Musk stated that the company had filed paperwork with international regulators to place approximately 4,000 satellites in low Earth orbit. We're really talking about something that, in the long run, is like rebuilding the internet in space, Musk said when revealing the project during a speech in Seattle. In January 2015, SpaceX announced its satellite internet proposal. Though no name was given at the time, CEO Elon Musk stated that the company had filed paperwork with international regulators to place approximately 4,000 satellites in low Earth orbit. We're really talking about something that, in the long run, is like rebuilding the internet in space, Musk said when revealing the project during a speech in Seattle. Musk's initial estimate of the number of satellites quickly grew, as he hoped to capture a portion of the estimated $1 trillion global internet connectivity market to aid in realizing his Mars colonization vision. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, of the United States has granted SpaceX permission to launch 12,000 Starlink satellites, and the company has filed paperwork with an international regulator to launch up to 30,000 additional spacecraft. To put that in context, according to the European Space Agency, only 14,450 satellites have been launched in history, with 6,800 currently operational as of November 7, 2022. Tintin and Tintin, SpaceX's first two Starlink test craft, were launched in February 2018. The mission went off without a hitch. Based on preliminary data, the company asked regulators to allow its fleet to fly at lower altitudes than originally planned, and the FCC agreed, opens into tab. On May 23, 2019, the first 60 Starlink satellites were launched aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. The satellites achieved their operational altitude of 340 miles, 550 kilometers. Skywatchers spotted a linear pearl string of lights as the spacecraft whizzed overhead in the early morning, just days after the first 60 satellite Starlink launch. Web-based guides directed others to the spectacular display. This was quite an amazing sight, and I was shouting "Oh!" when the bright train of objects entered into view. Marco Langbro, a satellite tracker based in the Netherlands, told Space.com via email in 2019. They were brighter than I expected. SpaceX has stated that it will collaborate with organizations and space agencies to reduce the effects of its mega constellation. In addition, the company has attempted to allay astronomers' concerns about Starlink's impact on the night sky. You guys are all truly amazing, and I appreciate every last one of you watching. I mean that, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Do subscribe to the channel, like the video, share your thoughts and questions in the comments section. And as always, I will see you again very soon.